It is my great honor to inform the following group has been elected vice president. Okay, we will continue now with the agenda. The next position in the executive, Vice President of European Affairs, PT has received one application from Tine Gonzalez, proposed by Sofia, Slovenia, seconded by KMPSB, the Netherlands. You have 3 minutes.
Dear General Assembly, I would like to start where it all started, at my first EPSA Congress in Malta 2015. Back then I didn't know what I'm actually attending, I just knew that it's going to be a great experience, and it was. I got engaged in EPSA, I got to meet new people, I figured what are the projects, activities of EPSA, and also the initiatives, the students' engagement, which I loved the most. That was also the reason why I then continued in my students' proactivity, by being Vice Secretary for Slovenia and the proper representative, as well as later on being Policy Affairs Coordinator within EPSA team. What I would like to do for the next mandate is to establish the Policy Affairs Coordinator more, as I would like to connect it to the other parts of the EPSA team with other positions, with other departments. For example, with creating a newsletter with collaboration with Vice President of European Affairs, for monitoring updates from Brussels. Then I will also focus on being the leader of the department, which I think I have the necessary skills for it. I have the necessary insight for it. I would also be the part of the executive, which means I would have to provide my opinion about leading the association to where we want it to be in years to come. One of the tasks of the next Vice President of European Affairs is also going to be monitoring the newly elected EU officials, since the EU elections are taking place very soon. This is to be done because we have to know who we want to influence, who are the ones that are interested in healthcare policy making, who are interested in youth engagement, and yeah, that will be one of my main priorities. I would also like to, with connection to the strategic plan, have a strategic approach regarding advocacy and bring EPSA advocacy closer to member associations by empowering EduProf platform, by having a webinar on the newest position that we would conduct in order to educate the members, to raise awareness of what we want to do and to bring our voice also out of Brussels to national and local levels. Thank you.
Okay, now I'll give the word to Sofia for the proposal speech.
Many of you already know Dylan as an active member of EPSA since 2015, and in those years he contributed to the association on numerous levels, not only as an active LS, but also an amazing trainer, EduProf representative, policy affairs coordinator, and lastly as a pharmacy student with a great mind for innovative approaches, who additionally has a great belief in EPSA. Not only through his work, but also on an everyday basis, he's promoting EPSA and encouraging younger students to take part at international events, have a look at our profession side of the students' curricula, and most importantly, to go out of the box. He's a perfectionist, so his work will be finished exactly before the deadline, but it will be done flawlessly. His strong motivation in advocacy and belief in the strength of students and our will in changing curricula makes him a perfect candidate, a new, fresh, and always innovative voice of the future healthcare professional.
Thank you, Sofia. Now KMPSV for the secondary speech.
At this speech, I would love to give my support from the KMPSV to Tillen for Vice President of European Affairs. It's an honor to the KMPSV to second Tillen for this position. As first in the position of Policy Affairs Coordinator, he has the knowledge of the newly established European Affairs Department. He fully defined the position from scratch and did this in great contact with the Vice President of European Affairs. He is already involved in the policy making of EPSA. After a mandate of working together with the Vice President of European Affairs, he is ready to represent EPSA in Brussels. He has the concrete and new ideas for the coming mandate that keeps in mind what is feasible and what is not. With his experience as LS and EDOPOL representative, he's in the best position to bring the advocacy of EPSA to the next level. We are sure that Tillen will do an excellent job representing EPSA and the pharmacy students in Brussels and the KPC, who fully puts their support behind him.
Thank you, KMPSV, and now I open the floor for questions. I have Annette first.
Annette France, thank you for your application. I would like to know, I love the idea of making advocacy closer to members, but I would like to know how would you do it with, Lambda students who are not really involved into EPSA events or are just involved into local or national associations?
Dylan?
Thank you for your question. Well, for us, I would definitely use the connection with license secretaries and the support platform to raise awareness about it. And yeah, mostly it's going to be also for you to get the knowledge of what we did and where we want to go from there.
DFSO?
Doreen, DFSO Belgium. Thank you very much for your application and your good speech. I heard that you said that you want to empower EduProf. Can you please explain this?
Dylan?
Thank you for your question. Regarding EduProf, we've seen that in this past mandate it wasn't so successful regarding the communication. So I would firstly focus on having regular meetings for EduProf representatives, and then also to releasing minutes soon after and updates to those that couldn't attend the EduProf platform meeting. I would also continue with individualized meetings in order to educate or to bring the information out there what we do and what is the task division, because I think that is still a question of quite many member associations. Also, maybe we could raise the activity within EduProf, for example, by different EduProf representatives sharing different initiatives that they find interesting for other students as well. And for example, maybe even including member associations advocacy work in EPSA blog. So for you to showcase what you did, for others to see your engagement, because yeah, that I think is very important.
Next I have MPSA Macedonia.
Benjamin MPSA. My question is regarding the annual reception. Could you please elaborate what you consider to be the target category, students or professionals? Thank you.
Dylan?
Thank you for your question. Regarding annual reception, yes, we do have both present there, both professionals and both students, which is important. We are a student association nevertheless. However, the target are the professionals, because that is our biggest event that we showcase of what we did in the last year from advocacy, but also other things. And it's a good opportunity to network, to get new partnerships, and to showcase our image that we try to build on the whole year.
Next I have Guy.
talked about. Can I make further on the question? I assume so. In any case, Dylan, you talked about, you used the word advocacy many times, but both from your report last year and from what you're saying, I actually don't think you have an idea what advocacy is. So, can you explain what you want to advocate for, what are the priorities you want to advocate for? Second, within your priorities, we know they're going to have an European Parliament, so for those who know, I work as a lobbyist for a pharma company as well, so...
Please speak up a bit.
Yeah, sorry. So, Dylan, what will be our priorities in terms of policy? So, what do you think that EPSA can bring to policymakers so that we can have an impact? Policymakers or other stakeholders, what are those stakeholders? And again, the question I brought to Paulina as well, what is the value that you can bring to Brussels? But most important, what is advocacy for you? Because I don't think you know what advocacy is.
Dylan, technical issues with the
It's just a bit. I thought that we were only allowed to ask one question at a time.
Yes. So it's the same question from the beginning with several questions in one speech. We don't take one question, we answer, and then all of them are new points. So Tina.
Okay, so to start, about the positions that I would like to advocate on, because that was also what you were interested in. Were you? Were you interested in which positions I think EPSA should elaborate on in the next mandate, or was that not? Okay, so what I think should be done is the interprofessional education within ESAS, so within European Healthcare Students Associations Summit. It's already planned that in the handover period we will release the survey and then collaborate together in order to write a position. And also the position paper on mobility. Right now we're in contact with ECU for it, because the survey report was already written, but we want to also like an official position. That are the main priorities. Then the question was my added value to Brussels, by being in Brussels. Personally, I think I'm a person that always thinks critically of when I get into information. I know how to put it into a context and to find a way to maybe approach it from a different perspective, which I think is needed. Apart from that, by being in Brussels, I would represent EPSA externally, but not only the advocacy part, like everything we do, the projects, the activities that we engage in, that is the second part. And what is advocacy? Advocacy for me is representing an opinion of a group of people, or group of people, in order to have an impact on those that hold the power for it.
Direct Guy.
Thank you, Dylan, for the answer. And what you said about, especially in the first part of the answer, what is the value that it brings to pharmacy students? So you answered that you wanted to bring the mobility, and the first part of your answer. So what is the value for that for EPSA?
The value for EPSA is for pharmaceutical students to be heard outside, because right now we're not heard on.
You mentioned the priorities that you wanted to be in your mandate. So you said, I want to advocate was mobility and other things.
Interprofessional education.
Exactly. What is the value for pharmacy students?
The value for pharmacy students, from pharmaceutical students, is that they we think that the curricula, for example, has too little inclusion of either mobility, interprofessional education, e-health, and other stuff, and we want to advocate for that in order to bring it in a way to students. By having positions on those topics, we showcase that we are also a stakeholder despite being students, and that we actually know a lot about it since we're the ones experiencing it. The educational system.
have Jan.
This is Jan, the head of PGEU. It's for a practical question. As I understood, you will not be fully graduated yet by June, so before you start the internship in Brussels, which is a crazy ride of many obligations, both for EPSA as for your internship partner, maybe in PGU. What are your extra duties that you will have outside the work for EPSA and PGU, and how will you manage, or how will that, you think, impact potentially your work?
So the extra duties in my personal life?
Jan?
So anything that does not have to do with EPSA and PGU that might ask for more time of you, how do you think that will impact?
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I won't be fully graduated by June, or yeah, soon after. I have the last 3 exams to be done. If I move to Brussels, if I'm elected and moving to Brussels, then I plan on taking those 3 exams before and taking a full year off of my studies, so that won't be affecting me in any way.
I have Guy first with a new point, and then Jan again.
No, it's working. Thank you, Dylan. Here, Dylan. Dylan, you are the second year now of having a department. So now you have all the positions under you, and you have the new position of policy coordinator, which last year, honestly, and it was you, but you know this, my opinion, honestly, it was useless. So what do you believe that can be improved on that position to actually bring any benefit to EPSA, or do you want to extinguish the position? What is your opinion about the policy coordinator position for the future?
First of all, thank you for your question. First of all, I have to say that I disagree with you regarding the use of the position, since the things that this position has done this mandate wouldn't have been able to be done by Vice President of European Affairs, and that would mean probably no position papers for another year, because the last actual position that was released was in June 2017, so there was quite a big gap between, in the last years. That's one thing. Secondly, about policy affairs coordinator, is that by having that person specifically, for example, for one of those aspects is surveys, to create surveys and analyze them in order to have the quantitative and also qualitative data to use it for position papers, is very, very important, and that also wouldn't be able to be done by Vice President of European Affairs itself. The development of the position, like I said, I believe it can be connected with many positions within the team. For example, with Educational Affairs Coordinator regarding methodology booklet, which you already worked on. So the plan is to release an annex for a specific field for methodology booklet yearly, and Educational Affairs Coordinator and Policy Affairs Coordinator are to be collaborating in bringing a quality annex to it. For example, I also believe with Public Health and Social Services Coordinator, we can work on that and involve it also in advocacy. I believe also with Mobility Coordinator by bringing advocacy sessions to educational parts of TWINETs, because right now that is lacking. For example, we could use the TWINETs also for a live person-to-person discussion about the topic of interest of those students, because lots of times actually TWINET is the first contact those students get with EPSA, and also bringing advocacy to that point would be more than beneficial.
Guy, direct.
Just to reply to that, for me what you answer is your function, not the policy coordinator. So I still don't see what you want to improve on the function of policy coordinator, because what you mentioned to me now, it should be your function as VPEU.
Okay, then I misread a bit the speaking list. First I'll have PhD and then Jan.
Concerning the PhD journey. Yes, I agree with you when you say that reassessing the changing landscape in Brussels is to utmost importance. However, with like 750 MEPs and potentially new candidates, that will be a crazy amount of work. So do you have thought of strategics, anybody to collaborate with when it comes to this reassessment of our political partners? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Regarding that, Marta said that she already plans on doing that, on starting the monitoring of the newly elected members of the European Parliament, since that it will also be very important for us to secure a date and a place for annual reception. Regarding the strategy, I will also be monitoring and especially like focusing on healthcare and youth, students and educational parts. So as I mentioned in my motivational letter, for example, the European Parliament's Committee on Envi, so that focuses also on health.
Jan?
With the EPSA hat, absolutely. So you indeed, we just talked about monitoring of the new MEPs that indeed enter, because as you will know, a very high percentage of all the MEPs that will be in Brussels for June will be new MEPs who won't know EPSA, who won't have any idea of what you stand for and what you're doing. And the same, and as ever be present from renewing a mandate every year, also with all the stakeholders, the partners, you will arrive and you will have the first time to explain what you are standing for. Do you think that today that is sufficient by just giving them a sort of elevator pitch? Or do you think that you might need any other supportive materials to promote and make more visual what is EPSA doing in European policies and how they are relevant for potential new MEPs and their agendas?
Thank you for your question, and actually both suggestions even. Regarding that, I already contacted the last position holder of this position. That was the first one after the last European elections, so Luc Cabesson. I asked him about what obstacles he challenged. And I believe if we continue on that, and also using the Alumni Advisory Board, we can set a strategy on how to approach the new officials in order to not to harm the image, but actually to raise our voice.
And I'll have BPhD.
PhD, Konstantin, I have a question concerning EduProf again. In my opinion, it is not really beneficial or fruitful to just have the group there, which is also a bit like it's hard to keep it that way. Just everybody is involved from every member country. If we don't have like something concrete to work on, like a concrete project that we can work on and follow along the year, so that make stick us together, still being in this project. I think it will be very beneficial for EduProf group. Have you thought of that, and do you maybe see some just some projects we could work on there? How would you employ EduProf group? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Regarding EduProf, first I would like to say that we have to know that there are kind of two groups of EduProf representatives. Those that are very engaged and would like to work on more, would like to bring it to the next level, and those that are having some troubles understanding what we are trying to do. So the first thing that I would like to do is try to get those that are less involved to be kind of to use this platform as as a tool to bring the representatives to the same level of understanding in order to bring to the discussion. That's, I think, the first thing that we can do. About the work that we can, or projects that we could work on, I don't have a concrete idea right now, but I believe that either representatives that are more engaged could present some ideas and we could work from there on.
Guy, your point?
Don't worry, I'll support you during the Monday, don't worry. I'm in the beach now, it's okay. It's needed. But look, you talked about the other platform and how it brings the members' opinion together. But what are you going to do with that opinion? Because over the past years in EPSA, what we've seen is that you have the other platform, it's very good, nice intellectual masturbation, but then nothing happened. So what do you want to do about what you want to advocate for? Who are the stakeholders that you really want to advocate for? Because what happened in EPSA over the last 5 years is that you have nice positions, but then they go into the drawer. So what do you want to do, especially with the new parliament, with new stakeholders, what do you want to do about it?
Since we're in GA, I'd like to point out that we should be careful with the words that we use. And now I'll let Tilan answer.
Intellectual exercise.
And also we should use hand signals. Thank you. Tilan.
So the question was, either prof platform, like this got me confused. Can you just
Yes, Guy.
You are doing your job in Brussels, meaning that you have the positions from the other platform. What are you going to do with that? Because over the last 5 years, no one did anything that went to the drawer. Advocacy was none. So what are you going to do with that?
Tilan?
Okay, thank you for your question. So, yeah, we have the positions that we do, and we advocate for them in Brussels. Yeah, but in order to have impact, we have to bring it also to national and local levels. That's why I have this idea of a webinar, but not only for, yeah.
Clarification, Guy.
What are you going to do with the position that EPSA does?
Tilan?
I will get to that point. So, with a webinar, we could present what we did and also where they can focus on national, local levels, where they can use the position paper or position to advocate for and to bring it outside Brussels.
9.3 proposal passes by Romania, seconded by France. I open the floor for discussion on the procedural motion. I close the floor for discussion on the procedural motion. All those against? Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. The floor is now closed, and I'll ask Tilan to provide his closing speech for 1 minute.
Yeah, I would like to thank the General Assembly for giving me the possibility to apply for this position. I believe I have the necessary insight, the necessary productivity, leadership skills, and external representation experience needed for this position. And yeah, thank you for considering me again.
Thank you, Tilan. Yes, please leave the room. Laptops, phones. You know already the story, live stream.